Nowadays, most people are not intelligent, they're just information obese. And because your brain confuses possessing information with processing it, it tells you the lie, I am very smart. Psychologists call this the illusion of explanatory depth and cognitive miserliness. And once you truly understand this, you will realize with horror why you are rapidly becoming one of those pseudo-intellectuals, people who talk a big game but solve no problems, who have an opinion on everything but depth in nothing. Right now, you're probably saying, I watch documentaries, I follow the news, I have good general knowledge. But here's where it gets more interesting. The modern world sold you access to information as intelligence. Searching for something on Google and finding the answer does not make you smart, it just makes you a good search engine operator. Here's the bitter truth. Intelligence is not how much you know, but what you can do with what you know. Keeping piles of useless information, trivia, in your memory does not show that your brain's processor is powerful. It only shows that your hard drive is full, and a full hard drive slows down the processor. Here's the dark and uncomfortable part that no one wants to admit. The habits you practice daily that you think make you look cultured are actually stupefaction rituals that destroy your cognitive capacity. The first of these, outsourcing thinking. We used to visualize a map in our minds to find an address. We used to calculate bills in our heads. Now you look at your phone for the simplest math problem and at the GPS for the simplest route. You think this is practicality, but in psychology it's called digital dementia. Because you don't use those parts of your brain, those neural pathways dry up. Looking at Google immediately instead of trying to remember something is mental laziness. The brain stops encoding information, saying it's recorded somewhere out there anyway. The result? A mind so atrophied it can't find its own street without technology. The second and most dangerous is mistaking your ideas for your identity. The biggest sign of low intelligence or rigid intelligence is getting angry the moment you feel you are wrong in an argument. An intelligent person gets excited when an idea is refuted because they have learned something new. Pseudo-intelligence sees this as an attack. If your pulse rises, your voice shakes, and you want to call the other person an idiot when someone presents evidence contrary to your political, religious, or social views, I'm sorry, but in that moment, your IQ is dragging on the floor. This is called emotional reasoning. You believe your emotions are more accurate than facts. You only listen to people who agree with you and only follow news sources that support your view. This is called an echo chamber, and echo chambers are graveyards where intelligence goes to die. The third is complexity fetishism. Most people use fancy words, long sentences, and incomprehensible terms to look smart. They think, the more complex I speak, the smarter I look. But psychology says the exact opposite. If you cannot explain something simply enough for a 6-year-old to understand, you haven't understood it yourself. True intelligence is the ability to simplify the complex. Pseudo-intelligence tries to hide its inadequacy by complicating the simple. If you're constantly hiding behind jargon, you're essentially saying, my ideas are too weak when naked, so I dress them in expensive clothes. The fourth is lack of original thought. Be honest with yourself. How many of the thoughts passing through your mind during the day truly belong to you? Or are you just repeating patterns you saw on Twitter, watched on YouTube, or heard from your family? Most people are like parrots. They repeat what they hear and mistake it for thinking. When an event occurs, if you look at what do people think about this before asking, how do I feel about this, you are an NPC, non-player character. You're not using your own processor, you're just transferring data. If what I have said has shaken your ego, great, because comforting lies only dull you further. Intelligence is not a fixed number. Just like a muscle, if not exercised, it melts away. You are currently melting your brain with these habits. So how do you stop this mental decay? First, learn to say, I don't know. The smartest sentence in the world is, I don't know, but I can learn. You don't have to have an opinion on everything. Second, be the devil's advocate. Read articles that defend the exact opposite of what you believe. Try to refute your own ideas. If you cannot defend an idea as well as its owner, you have no right to criticize it. Third, Turn on mental navigation. Turn off technology for a while. Do math without a calculator. Find your way without GPS. Force your brain to remember that name of that actor without asking Google. That feeling of strain is the only thing that scrubs the rust off your neurons. Stop trying to look smart. It makes you look stupid. Instead, try to understand. Curiosity is the fuel of intelligence. Ego is the brake. Silence your ego. Feed your curiosity. Because at the end of the day, the smartest person is not the one who knows all the answers in the room, but the one who asks the best questions.